Good afternoon students. So welcome back to our online session of digital signal processing and application class. In today's sessions I am actually more concerned about the Butterworth. Okay, so in today's sessions we are going to learn about what's the meaning of Butterworth. So we already talk about some concepts related to the Butterworth. In this, what are the steps we actually use to design the Butterworth that I am going to explain you. The first step is that we need to find the order n, right? After finding the order, what we need to get? We need to get the omega p. What is omega p? Is nothing but frequency in the pass band. Then we have to find omega s. What is omega s stands for? Frequency in the stop band. If you have frequency in the pass band and frequency in the stop band, if you know both the things, next what we need to find? We can find what? Alpha p, attenuation in the pass band, attenuation in the stop band. If you know all the parameters, we can able to find its transfer function h of s. How do we get h of s? So h of also we have to obtain by considering its numerator separately as well as the denominator separately. Clear? So here what we seen students, so we have seen that in order to find the Butterworth, we need to consider these two parameters. One is what? Order. Next is what? Frequency in the pass band. Second is the frequency in the stop band. Then attenuation in the pass band and attenuation in the stop band. If you know all these things, we can able to find its transfer function h of s is equals to numerator by denominator. Okay. So in order to find the order of the filter students, we need to use n formula, right? What is n is equals to 1 by 2 log of 1 minus 10 power 0.1 alpha p. In this we can write 0.1 also write down in this way. We can able to find out the filter. So what is this value? Alpha s is nothing but attenuation in the stop band, alpha p is nothing but the attenuation in the pass band, omega s is nothing but the frequency in the stop band by frequency in the pass band. So it's always be greater than or equals to whatever the values we have to write, it should be greater than or equals to. For example, if you got n value as 0.5, that means greater than 0.5, that means n is equals to 1 we have to take. If n is greater than 1.2 also if you get, then we should take it as approximately 2 because it's greater than or equals to, right? So we have to take that specific value for finding the answer. So in order to find numerator and denominator, we should know two things. What is the two things students? One is the impulse invariant response. Yes, we already talk about it. Impulse invariant response, how do we find s value? Wherever s is there, what we will write? 1 minus e power minus ts of alpha p into z power minus 1 we'll write. What is this t? We'll write as pole value for it. That is what we will convert whatever the function we do have, we convert in this form. What about this impulse? After impulse invariant response, this is called it as impulse invariant response. So next thing what we have learned, bilinear transformation. In the bilinear transformation, what we will going to do it, we are going to find s is equals to 2 by t 1 minus z power minus 1 by 1 plus z power minus 1. If you do both the things, we can able to convert the given function into the bilinear transformation. This is for impulse invariance transformation. So students, likewise we do have low pass filter, high pass filter. We are going to see how it is going to work on that low pass and high pass. Okay. What is the basic definition of low pass filter? It has what? One pass band, one stop band, right? What is the value we'll write? We'll write omega with respect to, if you want to find the function of it, analysis of that, h of omega, I want to find it the magnitude response. Always we'll take amplitude value is always 1. Here we do have critical frequency, cutoff frequency, not critical, cutoff frequency, omega c. So what is the condition we'll write? It allows. So students, so next we do have different types of filters. So I just want to give the idea of that. That's the reason I'm mentioning here low pass filter, high pass filter. What's the definition of low pass filter, students? If I want to design h of omega with respect to omega, what are the two things I am going to see? I'm going to see its graph, right? How the graph is representing over here. It has two types of band. One is pass band, another is the stop band. PB stands for pass band, SB stands for stop band. So below that there is a critical frequency, omega c is there. If you had omega c, if the range is from 0 to omega c, what is the amplitude value? Highest amplitude is 1. As I have written here relation, I have mentioned that whatever the value of omega c I do have, if my omega c, h of omega is equals to 1, what is the omega value lying between 0 to omega c? Between these two values, your h of omega is 1, is equals to 0 otherwise. For other values, it will be 0. Clear? So that's how this is going to be obtained, the response of it. So what we have seen that whatever the value of omega, if you want to see, h of omega, if you want to design with respect to omega, this is omega c. This is our lower frequency, right? This is the lower component only. It will resist the higher component. So it will allow pass band. Here is the stop band. It only allow the lower component. That's what here mentioned as h of omega of mod is equals to 1 with the range of 0 to omega c is equals to 0 otherwise. This means after omega c there is no response is there. That's the reason we can write 0 otherwise. Clear? So next kind of response is about high pass filter. What is the high pass filter graph we do have? Same, we are designing omega with respect to h of omega. What are the two things we are going to see? Stop band and pass band. So what is this? Stop band is only one stop band, pass band is also one. This is the omega c, right? So below omega c, from 0 to omega c, if I am writing as 0 here, that means whatever the value I do have, if I have a 0 here, that means origin was always 0, right? So this is my 0. From 0 to omega c, there is no response, right? That means 0. There is no response on 0. But from omega c to till infinity, whatever the values we do have till that infinity, if you want to write that value, that means if I want to find from omega c to infinity, omega c into infinity, that amplitude should be equals to 1. So this is the response of our what? This is the response for our high pass filter. Clear? So low pass and high pass response we have to see. We have to use it in our Butterworth and Chebyshev approximation. So the next type of filter is about, students, it is what? Band stop filter. What is a band stop filter? One more name, band rejection filter is also we call it as band stop filter, right? So what is the graph is explaining over here? We are drawing the graph omega with respect to h of omega, right? So what we are going to see in this, we are going to see that it is having from 0 to omega c1, it is allow the band, right? What is this? It is called it as PB1, that means pass band 1. Here it is. This is only we have one stop band. This is your pass band 2. So what is the relation we can write? When it is h of omega is equals to 1 at 2 bands. So what is omega value? So omega value should be lying between 0 to omega c1. It is 1, right? So we are plotting with respect to omega to mod of h of omega. At this range it is also 1. And what are the another range? From whatever the value omega c to omega, it's till infinity. For that value is also equals to 1, right? For this value also from omega c to till infinity, this is also having second pass band. This is a pass band 1, this is your pass band 2. Clear? So based on these two values we are writing. And when it is 0, then it will be 0 when omega is lying between omega c1 to omega c2. Critical cutoff frequency 1 to cutoff frequency 2. At this particular thing, this will be 0. Clear? So this is the way we can represent our band stop filter or band rejection. So band rejection also we call it as band rejection filter. For this we can represent in this way. Clear? So this is the third type of filters we are talking about. The next type of filter is what? Band pass filter. This is a band pass filter, right? What we are plotting? We are plotting h of omega with respect to this omega value, right? So if you want to design this kind of filter, what we are writing? We are writing omega c1 to omega c2, only it has one pass band, reverse of band rejection filter. In this, how many stop bands is there? Stop band 1, stop band 2. There are two stop bands, only one pass band. So how do we write the relation for it? So what is the relation I can write for this? I can write h of omega with mod is equals to 1 at only one range. That means your omega should be lying between omega c1 to omega c2. At this value only it is 1, right? 0 otherwise. Otherwise means for other relations of all the things it will be 0. Clear? So for these kind of situations we always write this particular relation. Clear? So this is our complete relation of finding the band pass filter. Clear? So there are 4 types of filters we have discussed: band pass filter, band stop filter or band rejection filter. With these relations, it has 2 pass band, 1 stop band, whereas band pass filter has only 1 pass band and 2 stop bands, right? It's a reverse, quite reverse of the previous one. Then we have seen the low pass as well. Low pass has only 1 with the value from 0 to omega c1. It is what reverse for the high pass, right? Omega c to infinity will be 1, reverse of both low pass and high pass, right? These all filters we are using to design our frequency response of the filters. Clear? So you should have to note it down, these all kind of formulas. We will discuss about the analysis functions of it by using the impulse invariant response and bilinear transformation. Based on that we can able to find out its relation. Okay, so that you need to always try to write it down, the answers for that particular equations. If you're done with that, your unit will be finished. Okay, thank you so much for today's sessions. Try to maintain the running notes. We will solve the remaining part of that particular lesson about impulse invariant response and finite impulse response for unit 3rd and unit 4th in our next sessions. Okay, try to maintain the notes. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Goodbye.